Hey guys, it's Andre here from Elite Exposure again, and I've got an exciting video for you guys. This is something that is very much overlooked, and it could be the reason why your trade business isn't necessarily gaining more revenue every single month. What I'm talking about today is you're getting leads for your business, but you're not necessarily closing more business. So the amount of leads you get is not actually gaining revenue every single month. And in today's video, I want to talk about the process and systems that I install for my clients to help them close more jobs with the leads that they get. Because it's all well and good getting leads, but just because you got a lead doesn't mean you close the job. So we need to install a system where we have a process for when we get the lead to actually closing the job. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to have 3 different versions of this system that I'll walk through every single one so we can diagnose why we're getting leads, but you're not closing jobs. So right off the bat, I'll do a walkthrough first and then we'll explain it one by one. So first things first is we've got our marketing. So we're running some ads, doing some SEO, whatever it might be. We've obtained a lead. Now there's 2 ways we can go here. We can either manually pre-qualify and send them straight here to our system, or we can send them through a pre-qualification survey or maybe even an AI bot. It's basically sending messages to the customer and the customer is responding to those messages. Now, depending on what the customer says, we can either qualify them so they'll go through to the next step or disqualify them so we won't get the lead at all. Now, manual pre-qualification works just fine. Obviously, you're going to be spending time actually pre-qualifying them manually, whereas this is an automatic thing. Now, this doesn't work all the time. It really depends on how you've set it up and what sort of culture you're dealing with. Different countries have different cultures, so some respond well to this. Some see that it's AI and they're not going to respond to it at all. Next, we've got 3 systems on how you can actually deal with these leads. We can either call them straight away, we can either wait or send them a text first, or we can call, email, and text. So we do all 3, and we'll go through that in a second. And then at the very end, we've got a site visit that's booked once we've dealt with the lead, we've sent the quote, and we've closed the job. So that's the ideal way we structure our business. So we get the lead, we qualify them, we do a site visit, we send them the quote gets accepted, and then the job is sold. And essentially what we want to figure out is this entire funnel, where are the bottlenecks and how are we going to fix it so that we can turn more of these leads into actual jobs. And what you basically want to work out is how many leads you're getting, how many of them are getting qualified, how many of them answer the phone, how many of them are booking a site visit, how many of them are getting the quote, and then how many of those are turning into a closed job. And then when you know those numbers, then you can make adjustments to your business to actually improve those numbers. So let's quickly go back to the beginning. So we got manual pre-qualification. So what this means is that we're not pre-qualifying them automatically. We're just going straight into either calling, texting, or emailing them. So that's pretty self-explanatory. But the pre-qualification, this is where you get a lead and you can either have a bot message them through text or messenger and basically ask them some questions about the job they're inquiring about, and they will answer. Sometimes people will not answer this at all. So this is why sometimes this can work or sometimes it can't. So depending on how you've set it up, this might work for your business or it might not. If you're manually pre-qualifying them and that's working fine, then there's no need to go through this process at all. Next is our actual manual pre-qualification. First things first, if you are calling your leads within 60 seconds of them inquiring, your chances of actually getting through to them are actually sky high. So if you're not doing that already, I can tell you now, you could probably get off this video, start calling your leads within 60 seconds of receiving them, and you will automatically just do a lot better just with that. But other than that, there's 3 ways we can do this. The first method, and I only recommend doing one of these, I wouldn't recommend doing all 3 because you want to see what works better for your business. So the first thing you can do in step 1 is call them within 30 seconds. If you do that, they're likely still on their phone when they've sent an inquiry, so they will pick it up. Next, if they do not answer, what you can do is call them back again instantly, which might make them think that this is probably an emergency call, so they will answer. The next thing you can do is call them again 7 times during the day. Now, you might think this is a little bit out there, but people will eventually pick up the phone if they see the same number calling over and over again. They might think it's important. If that doesn't work, you can call again another 7 times the next day. And then the next day, you can dial it back a bit, call them only 5 times. And when you're doing this, you can use different numbers as well to try to get a hold of this customer. If that fails after day 3, then you can leave them a text and an email letting them know you called. And if you still need help, we can help. Just respond to this email or this text. So that's step 1. The next step and this works particularly well if they have an iPhone, is you text them first and then you call. Basically the same as the first one, except you actually text them. This can be automatic or it can be manual, but you're essentially texting them first before you call so they know who's calling. Now, the difference between these two is some people actually do want to speak to you, so they appreciate the text, but some people don't want to speak to you, but as soon as you get them on the phone, they actually do want to speak to you. It's really weird, but this is how you would do it. So you would text them first saying, hey, it's Bob from Bob's Builders, and I'm gonna call you right now. And when you do this, when they have an iPhone, it'll actually show on their phone who's calling because you've said your name is Bob. So the iPhone will tell them this is probably Bob from Bob's Builders or whatever. And that's the advantage of that. So they can actually see, and I think it's the same story on a Samsung where they'll actually see the text message from the person who's actually calling. But essentially this is the same as the first way of getting a hold of your leads, but we're introducing a text. The first one, we're not introducing a text or an email. We're literally just trying to get a hold of them over the phone without letting them know who we actually are. And then the final way of doing it is the same way as the first time, except this time we're going to call, email, and text them 3 times in day 1, 3 times in day 2, and then 3 times on day 3. And we're going to do the same thing again on day 4. And that's how you would do it in step 3. If all of these things do not work, and you're still seeing a very low volume of leads coming through that are actually going through to this stage, let's say it's like really low, 10% or something, then something is wrong with either your pre-qualification manually or your pre-qualification automatically. So if you are still not getting a hold of these leads, something is either going on here or it's going wrong in your marketing. Something is going on with your ads or your marketing or whatever you're doing that's getting a whole lot of spam leads that either don't have real numbers or they're not actually interested. So if all of this is not working, something is going to be wrong with your marketing and you need to look into it to see what could possibly be wrong. Next, if you are doing good marketing and the pre-qualification is going really well, so you're getting real phone numbers of real people with real addresses and they're actually interested, and you're getting a bit of a bottleneck here where not everyone is responding to it very well and not many are booking in a site visit, then you've got something wrong with your sales process over the phone or what you're saying in these text or emails. So if that's the case and you only have, let's say, 50% booking in here, then you might want to look at what you're saying over the phone. So I strongly recommend recording your sales calls or even having sales meetings every single week and discussing what you said that week and what worked, what didn't, because you really want to be improving this all the time so you get the maximum amount of people booking in a site visit that are actually qualified. So there's no point of doing site visits if they're not qualified just for the sake of doing a site visit. Next, if you're having a bottleneck, let's say your marketing is doing really well, your pre-qualification is doing really well, you're getting people, you're getting a hold of people, they're booking in a site visit, and you're sending the quote, but they're not accepting the quote, then something could have gone wrong here in your site visit. So whoever's doing the site visit is not too good with homeowners, or he said something wrong or whatever. Then you can have a look at how you do your site visits and what you say to the homeowner to get them stopping from doing this correctly. Now, it's very well and good that maybe what you sent out is too expensive. And in that case, you could add in some pre-qualification here in the sales process to see how much budget they even have. You know, whether you ask that question or not, it totally depends on your industry, but that's something you could do. And then if you're getting, and then you want to see the final number of how many jobs are closed with everything into consideration. So basically you want to have the numbers ready. So if we go here, and let's just say, let's just say 100 leads obtained, then pre-qualified. Let's just say 90 of them get pre-qualified. Then how many of them answer the phone? Let's just say it's 90 again, for argument's sake. Site visit booked. Let's make up a scenario. So 20 leads. Now this will always get lower the further you go down. That's just totally normal. Let's say out of all those site visits, you send out all 20, which you normally would, unless they're a total waste of time and then you wouldn't even bother writing the quote. And then jobs sold, let's say 10 jobs sold. So what we can tell here is we've got a good amount of leads, good amount of them were pre-qualified, a good amount of them answered the phone, but only 20 of them were actually qualified for our service. So what you could do here, if our bottleneck is clearly here, so our bottleneck is somewhere here, so we might want to improve either the phone system, the pre-qualification, or the actual leads that we're getting. If we make up another scenario, and let's just say out of 100 leads, only 20 of them are pre-qualified, and let's just say 20 of them answer the phone, we're only booking in 5 site visits, and then let's just say 3 turn into leads. I mean, sorry, 3 actually turn into a quote sent, and then 1 job is sold. Now we've got a conversion rate from 100 leads to only 1 job. So we've got a significant problem with the actual marketing that we're doing, because we've gone from 100 way down to 20. So something about the messaging in this is giving us the wrong leads, or it's giving us fake leads. So we need to do something about how we actually market the business. If we go through another example, let's just say we get 80 that are pre-qualified, and let's just say we book in 70 site visits, and then we're sending out 65 quotes. And then let's make up a scenario, only 10 jobs sold. So now we got good leads. They're pre-qualified, they answer the phone, we book in the site visit, we send out most of the site visits, but now we only got 10 jobs sold. So the dramatic drop off from the quote sent to the job sold is quite significant. That's a huge jump. So something in our sales process, when the person was either visiting and what he said on site, or what quote you sent, whether it was price or professionalism or whatever it may be, something has gone wrong in either the quote sent, the site visit booked, answering the phone and pre-qualifying them. Basically, when you have a bottleneck at whatever stage of the funnel, everything above it, there is something that went wrong or possibly went wrong, and that's where you would start. But essentially, where you want to start is the thing right above it. So here's our bottleneck between quote sent and job sold. We need to look at the quote sent process. We need to look at the site visit booked process. So you look at those two first, and then you work your way up. So if you're practicing and you're rehearsing your sales process and it's really good, then maybe something you did over the phone did not qualify them correctly, and you were just booking site visits for the sake of booking site visits. So you need to look at your answering phone process. So we need to essentially look back at this stage of the funnel, all of this, and see what went wrong to book in so many site visits but get so little amount of sales. If we look at another scenario, let's just say 70 booked, 65 leads, but we actually got 40 closed jobs. Now to go from 100 leads to 40 closed job, that's a 40% conversion rate from cold lead. So this is the ideal number that you actually want. And this is when you would know that your entire process is pretty locked in, and then you can make little small adjustments to try increase this number, whether that's sending out quotes, maybe it's qualifying better, maybe it's qualifying them on your actual website before you get the lead. But essentially what you've got here is a process you can follow for your business to see where the bottlenecks are in terms of getting the leads and actually turning them into jobs. These are numbers you should probably be reflecting monthly, so that you know each step of your funnel for your trade business, so you can see where you need to make adjustments to close the most amount of jobs. Because you have to remember, when you're basically spending money, you're spending money on marketing, you're spending money pre-qualifying, you're spending money on the phones, you're spending money on site visits, you're spending money on quotes, and then you get a closed job. So all of this costs money. And if there's small adjustments, which all of these are small adjustments, it's not going to cost you a fortune to do. But if you can make small adjustments, you can always increase these numbers so that you can close the most amount of jobs possible. Essentially, you always want to be working on this to make sure that there's no leads being wasted, especially if you're not even calling them straight away. Those are immediately going to the competition. So you want to be constantly improving the funnel so that you can close more jobs for your business, and this is how you scale. Because what you want to do then, once you've got all of this dialed in, all you need to do to scale is you just increase this. You spend more money on ads. Now you got 300. Let's just say we got 240 leads that are pre-qualified, 200 answer the phone. Let's make that a better number. It's like 250. Ideally, you want as many people answering the phone as possible. Site visits booked, let's just say 170, 150. Get the quote sent. And now let's just say we have 120 jobs sold. These are much bigger numbers now. And because you worked on your funnel before and worked on all of these systems to help you close the job, instead of just randomly calling clients whenever you want and having no systems in place, now you've got an effective way to actually scale beyond just marketing and getting leads. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're a business owner that could use systems like these to help you close more jobs, so you're not losing jobs to competitors, you can book in a call with me below. And if you enjoyed this video, you can hit that subscribe button below and like this video. And I look forward to seeing you next time.